Welcome to the Timescales Updates. I'm Grego, and today I have a very special guest back again. This is the award-winning filmmaker and author, John Walsh. Hi, John. How are you?
Hi, great to be back. Thanks for having me back to talk about this bad boy, the Wicker Man, just in time for Halloween as well. The Wicker Man, the official story of the film. Ooh, spooky.
Awesome. Okay. The last time that we talked, you were speaking of the Wicker Man that was going to be coming out in October, and boom, here we are. It's October and it's out. Are you excited?
Yes, very. I mean, I am excited because my concern with the Wicker Man was would there be something new to say, something new to see, and of course my fears were bit by bit alleviated as I started writing the book, and I was bursting to tell everyone, oh, we found this, and we've got someone saying that, and you must see these. But now we can finally show it and reveal it all. So it's the biggest book in terms of size I've done before, and it's heavy and lots of pages. So I always asked the publisher, can I have a bigger book? And so they gave me a bigger book.
Okay, there you go. I thought that the Dalek book was pretty huge, and this is even bigger.
Yes, so it's larger in size and scale, and in terms of page count as well. So that's great. You know, it's partly because the Dalek book was so successful, they decided to go bigger for this one. You know, and it's all credit to Tyson Books and the teams there for getting behind this, because it's hugely expensive to make a book, and these types of books, these coffee table art books, are phenomenally expensive. So you know, it's exciting they got behind it in the way they did.
Okay, wonderful. Now, what I'm wondering, as a successful, accomplished author, you know, you have similar books, Flash Gordon, the official story of the film, Escape from New York, the official story of the film, Harryhausen, the Lost Movies, and of course, Doctor Who and the Daleks, the official story of the film. And I'm wondering, when you have one of these new publications come out, certainly you're excited. Is the excitement the same each time, or is it different depending on the publication itself?
Well, I think it kind of depends. I had a late arrival here of things. Just see it above me, Conan the Barbarian, the official story of the film, which should have come out really last year, but we had some various delays, and the rights holder for Conan wanted to wait until this year when they had lots of other announcements with Titan Books, which was fine. So you kind of gear yourself up to something, and then suddenly it doesn't happen. Now two books coming almost in succession. Conan was last month and Wicker Man this month. I think what changes is your working practice, how you write the book. I used to be quite anxious at the thought of taking on a book, and it might have to be, say, 50,000 words, and you haven't even written the first word. That sort of thing, it's the same on a production as well. Until you've made a series for a certain channel, or you've made a feature film, and you kind of realize, oh, okay, I wasted a lot of energy worrying about something that that didn't happen and couldn't have happened. Perhaps I am a worrier, and because I'm a kind of an organizational freak, I like things to be done just so. I'm always worried if they're not, and if you know, like being late for meetings and making sure I have extra pairs of glasses and spare keys and so on. I over prepare. And there are people who do lots of prepping more than I do for eventualities. I mean, I don't have a nuclear bunker in the basement, but I would if I could. I would have lived like a James Bond villain underground in a kind of a steel chamber. So those anxieties never go away, and the excitement doesn't either. And I'm always kind of hopeful. Gosh, will everyone else want to know about a film from 50 years ago or longer if it was Doctor Who? Because I'm a fan and I know a few people who are, but these books have to transcend the fan base because they have to sell everywhere, in every Amazon around the world, in every bookshop, in every Barnes and Noble or Waterstones and small independent bookshops. So they have to really fight their corner. So I'm always a bit anxious. Is it okay? And have we missed anything? And is there any big errors? I'm lucky that all of my books have gone to second print runs and in third print runs in the case of Harryhausen. So there's an opportunity to update and improve and correct if need be, because very occasionally things slip through. Often it's typos with people's names because people have different, sometimes unique spellings of their names. But no, I kind of think you swap one set of anxieties for another, but you never stop worrying about the projects or the books. And if I did, I think I'd stop doing them, even to the extent of the online marketing I do for my books. I do mini unboxings. I spend more time now on a 2-minute video than I did used to spend on maybe a half-hour video that I would have done maybe 3 or 4 years ago. So now I'm making sure that things are much more consumer friendly and kind of sing to the audience, I think, base for the books. And what I've been very gratified to hear is that people who perhaps aren't fans of all of these films, but they are kind of, as they tell me, fans of my writing. So people who bought Conan, who didn't really know about The Wicker Man, saw it on the sleeve note saying that it's coming soon. They thought, well, I'll have a look at that as well. So it's quite satisfying to bring people in who are new, fresh meat, as The Wicker Man would probably think. Very good for the island.
Okay, well, I'm one of them because I enjoyed the Doctor Who books so much that I went and watched The Wicker Man just a couple of nights ago, and oh my gosh, I had never seen it before. And you talk about scary. And what I'm looking forward to now, you mentioned Barnes and Noble. That's I believe, our largest chain bookseller here in the US. And that's where I'm going to be picking up my copy of The Wicker Man. And after reading it, then I'm going to watch the film again. And it wouldn't be without you that I would be doing that. And because of how much I enjoyed the Doctor Who book. So when I pick up my copy at Barnes and Noble, or when anybody receives their copy from anywhere they choose to purchase, what can we expect of this new book?
So after 50 years, what new is there left to say? Well, I think the essential headline here is that a lot of what has been said before wasn't verified, it wasn't checked. If you or I were writing a newspaper report for a big newspaper, they'd have to make sure that everything you say is verifiable because, of course, if things are wrong, it looks professionally bad, but also you open yourself up to litigation as well. So you have to be very careful about what you say, and you have to be sure of your facts. And I wasn't sure of the facts of what people were saying about The Wicker Man, the different cuts of the film, why it ended up the way it did, who the disputes were between, what went wrong, and a lot went wrong. So I kind of went back and spoke to everyone who I could, who was alive, and got them to really go on the record about the film, why it ended up the way it did. Huge controversy over sequences that were cut from the film and supposedly deliberately destroyed. And that wasn't, I believe, the case. But it wasn't enough for me to get a hunch and think, well, I'm not sure that's right. I had to make sure I spoke to the people involved, the original producer for the film, Peter Snell, the production company behind the film, British Lion, with Barry Spikings and Michael Dealey. And people might not know these names, but if you know films like When Harry Met Sally, Misery, and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, a lot of these projects were involved with Barry Spikings, who was previously at British Line. If you know The Italian Job, The Deer Hunter, and Blade Runner, then you most definitely have enjoyed films produced by Michael Dealey, one of the UK's greatest, perhaps unsung film producers. Now, these were the two guys who were running British Line in the early 70s, and they inherited The Wicker Man, and they were not happy with it. And it's a real, for people like me who are in production, it's very satisfying to read about other productions that have a much worse time than you're having yourself. So there's something very soothing about reading about the foibles on other films. And of course, there's famous ones about the Godfather series, and Paramount Plus did an amazing series called The Offer, which looked at the making of The Godfather and how fascinating it was, the whole process and who was involved. And I think these books, as much as they're non-fiction, they're not dry. You want them to be as interesting as possible. The backroom politics, the shenanigans of what really went on. And it was around the time of sort of the Watergate scandal in America. And really what happened on The Wicker Man, who said what, where they were, who was telling the truth and who wasn't. I think we've kind of straightened out all those stories. But because it's a Titan book, it needs big images. It needs things you haven't seen before, or if you have, not in this fuller scope, in this better quality. And we have that with the images, we have it with the artwork. And even though it's a much smaller film, it's not a Flash Gordon, a Doctor Who, or a Conan the Barbarian. It's a very, very small scale film. It's still a visual treat. We have lots in there for people to see and lots for them to be surprised about. Who was going to play the policeman originally? It wasn't Edward Woodward. There was at least 3 to 4 other actors in the running for it. And the first choice in the running for it, I spoke exclusively to him for this book. He hasn't really spoken about it before. And so he gave me a bit of an exclusive interview. It was Michael York, who we know from Logan's Run, of course, and Cabaret and many other great films. And he was spectacularly young at the time, very young, good-looking, blonde man. He would have been perfect to have played Sergeant Howie. Of course, Edward Woodward was supremely good as well. We get into all of that, what could have been, what should have been, and what is. So I'm hoping that people will feel that the record that they knew before has now been put straight, and hopefully for the final time. There won't be another official version, I suspect.
Okay, very good. That sounds absolutely exciting, John, and thank you so much. For people that are interested in this, go ahead and check out a more in-depth screen rant discussion with John on The Wicker Man, the official story of the film. That is right here on YouTube as well. Just go down to the description in this video, and there will be a link to where you can enjoy that as well.
And we're going to say, look, if anyone wants to get a limited edition signed bookplate from me, I'll send you one through too, and a limited edition bookmark. I will sign it and dedicate it to the person who contacts me. Then they simply just have to send me a screenshot of their Amazon or Goodreads review. So if you haven't got an Amazon account or you don't buy your books that way, Goodreads is a place you can freely leave a review. And if you send me a screenshot of that and email me at info@walshbros.co.uk, but I'm sure you can pop that in the screening notes.
Yep.
There's only a few left, so contact me when you can for those.
Okay, excellent. And I received my bookmark as well when I purchased the Doctor Who and the Daleks, the official story of the film. And in fact, I have it in the book right here on my coffee table. So
nice.
All right, and we are going to put the link to that email address below now. Be sure to claim yours. John, it's really nice to see you again today, and congratulations.
Thanks very much. Well, I hope you'll have me back next year. I'm working on some other books, so I'm not allowed to say what they are yet, but I'll be delighted to come back. And book number 7 I'm working on. I hope it's lucky number 7 for me.
Nice. Okay, just as soon as you can talk about it, let me know.
Will do.
Okay, take care.
Thanks now.
Yep, thanks. Bye-bye.